Hello, everyone, and welcome to Insider Gaming Weekly, a video game podcast. It is Thursday, May 5th, 2025. I am, of course, one of Insider Gaming's senior editors, Mike Straw, joined, as always, by my co-senior editor, Grant Taylor Hill, and actually, he's not fellow senior editor. He is technically our senior producer, A to the P, Albert Perkins. And we are joined for the full episode this week by Tom Henderson. No gong this week because it's a streamlined. We have a lot to get to. Not as many topics as normal, but before we get into that, guys, how you doing today? It's been a weird week. Not really the best day, and we'll get into everything in a minute. But personally, how you doing? Grant, start with you.
Oh, I'm in bits. It's getting hot over here in the UK, man. I don't like the heat. I don't deal well with the heat. And I sit here at my desk, and you got monitors, and you got like a enormous PC and stuff. And man, cooling is such a problem in the UK. In case you guys didn't know, the UK has never heard of air conditioning, so we just don't have it anywhere. So you go in stores and stuff just to get like a sweet, blissful brush of fresh air across you. It didn't work. I'm not looking forward to the summer, man. But that's just me complaining. That's me griping. Hope AP's had a better day than me, better week. I think he's muted. He's talking away.
You guys, am I still muted? I think
Schoolboy era. Come on, man. We're corporate.
For me, man, I mean, when you talk about like warm weather, you need to come to this area of the country here in the United States because like we get like all of the seasons, and whenever we get warm temperatures here, it's absolutely glorious. So yeah, I come to respect and appreciate whenever the sun comes out here in this area of the country for sure.
I never get upset about warm temperatures because we have snow 6 months out of the year. So
yeah.
Tom,
no
how
doubt.
are you?
Same.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm warm as well.
It's a beautiful day though.
Yeah, with the UK, like our houses are built to keep in the heat because of the winter.
Yeah.
So we just don't have the infrastructure, and I don't know, maybe it's going to change over the next few years because we are starting to get warmer summers. So, but yeah, hot day. Bad news, which we'll get into hopefully soon. But overall, I'm good.
Before we get into what we need to talk about, as always, this is Insider Gaming Weekly. You can subscribe to us and follow us wherever you get your favorite shows on all of the audio platforms, Spotify, Amazon Music, Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts. You can also subscribe here on YouTube if you are watching the show. Leave a like, subscribe. If you want to guarantee your questions get answered during the show, you can always help support independent games media and leave us a super chat. It all goes to keep us growing, keep us doing what we love. And that kind of segues into, you know, we're skipping over what have we been playing lately. We because there's a lot we need to talk about, and I'd be remiss if we didn't get right into what happened today with some colleagues, in some cases some friends over at Polygon and at Giant Bomb. Polygon was sold, and subsequently pretty much everybody aside from a few names here and there were let go, including some of the best in my opinion, some of the best reporters, just people who've been around this industry for years. We saw Giant Bomb having people leaving, including, you know, Jeff Grubb. And some of these names will be fine. Some of these names are big enough, they will be fine. There are others who are news writers, guides writers that are now scrambling for work because of an acquisition or some sort of executive decision. And I know technically we're competing outlets, but in this industry, you may be competing for the views, competing for things like that, but you're still colleagues. Again, I said in some cases friends, and it sucks. It's absolutely awful, and it's just another big reason why I will sit there and say at all times, support independent media like us, because we're trying to do things differently. So many others are. So if you like an outlet, support them however you can. I mean, right now, it's not like we have membership plans. We don't do that. We don't need to do that. But if I don't know if there's a way you can support them, even just by watching their content or reading their content, it goes a long way to keeping us doing what we're doing. Because admittedly, I mean, everybody here, it's scary to think about because it can happen to anybody at any given time. So I don't know. I wake up and I see it, and I kind of getting long-winded, and I apologize for it. It's just, it bothers me every time I see people who I respect kind of go through this and they just get the rug pulled out from under them. Because you buy, I mean, in a way, like from the Polygon standpoint, a 13-year-old publication that has been just with great history of great work. Some people don't like them, some people do. You're not going to please everybody, but then they just wake up one day, everything's good, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's no more. The people who made the site what it was are gone, and now it's just there in name only.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Definitely our hearts go out to all of those affected for sure. It's a unpredictable industry to say the least. You know, and when things like this happen, it's always a reminder of, you know, you just gotta come to appreciate everything that you do, you know, whenever it comes to this sort of thing. You know, we're definitely blessed for sure.
And like I told Tom, I'm gonna go to the casino and try and win us a boatload of money.
There you go. There you go.
I'm gonna sit at the blackjack table and hit on 20 at all times.
Let's go.
That's a good strategy. Hit on 20 at all times. And
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, it definitely does suck, and I think we're in a very fortunate position with the way that we've come into this industry, and not a lot of people are in that position, right? Especially if they've been with an outlet for so long and it gets snapped up by one of these corporations that don't have a clue how to just operate a gaming journalism outlet. There's nothing in the sense like we can't offer. I mean, I wish we could bring on as many people as possible, but that's another reason why we can't, right? Is because we don't want to get in that position ourselves where then we have to do our own layoffs and whatever it may be. But I know, Mike, you said that if anyone's at PAX, you'll buy them a drink and all that good stuff. And I just want to relay that message just in case anyone is listening. If anyone that has been affected does need help, even get into PAX or get into Summer Games Fest to help, you know, push their career into a new direction or try and find work by any other means, just reach out to me or Mike and we'll try our best to facilitate, be it meals or hotels or travel or whatever it may be. We'll try our best to try and help you as much as we can.
Yeah, and one of the things I'm doing too, and they put it out, a lot of people, like a lot of different outlets, because again, it's all about I still want to help as much as I personally can with my limited reach or whatever. There's so many places that are accepting like freelance pitches or whatever, and like I'm just sharing as much as I can, because again, there's a lot of and I like there's a lot of people that they'll land on their feet, they'll be fine. It sucks right now, but their names are big enough, they will be scooped up. It's the smaller ones, the ones who are whether they're just getting started, they're only a year in, they haven't built a name. Those are the ones I'm worried about the most. Like, are they completely jaded from the media side of things? Which I wouldn't blame them if they were. It's so tough. And we'll get into the next toughness. But like even the media side, like everybody's worried about the games industry side itself with developments and studios. The media side is in many ways just as uncertain right now.
Definitely.
And this is coming from people within it.
Yeah, it's probably worse, to be honest, which is unfortunate to say, right? But yeah, I mean, we'll try our best to help in any way that we can. We are, at the end of the day, a small independent outlet, but if there's a way that we can help, if there's a way to bring, like if somebody needs to pay the bills or whatever, and they've got a week or two spare, maybe there's all sorts of stuff we can do, right? It's just that at the moment we don't have the capability to bring on people full time. But if we can do any of that stuff that I've outlined, then please do reach out.
Before we move on, Molly asked, how do you see the future of the industry going forward with everything? From a media side, it is going to be independent media. outlets like us, small independent outlets or independent, like it's kind of where it's at. It feels like the bigger the company, the bigger like umbrella they have, the more outlets you kind of get the same churn of content and just type of material being pushed out. If you want to the unique perspectives, we built our stuff on getting you inside information, hence the name of the outlet. You're going to have you have to find that independent outlet that you gel with the most as a consumer.
Yeah, it's almost like our niche, right? Is that Insider Gaming brings you the inside scoop on what's going on behind the scenes. Now, granted, some people are not particularly fond of some of the stuff that we reported on and stuff, which is absolutely fine. But at the same time, that's what we've carved out of the stone in this particular industry, and it's proven to be relatively successful. But as for the future, it's very difficult on the gaming media side. I think it is going to be small 3, 4, 5, 6 person teams. I think the days of 30, 40 employees are long gone, and it's probably going to be fan funded, right? But even now, even that market in particular is getting pretty oversaturated. And there's a reason why at this moment in time we've not said, hey, let's launch a Patreon, let's launch a whatever else other means of doing that stuff is at the moment. I'd rather kind of continue doing what we're doing. But yeah, it's going to be incredibly difficult. But just like on the gaming side, I'm very excited at the same time. That might sound a bit stupid, but I think in dire times comes a lot of creativity, and that's where we're going to see in the coming years a lot of more creative games that you probably wouldn't expect. And then on the media side, we'll probably see some creative ways of people being able to bring you the news, which is what we do, right? So it's going to be interesting. I'm excited, but that doesn't mean that I'm not upset or discouraged by the information that we got today.
And it wasn't just today. We'll kind of transition to the other side of the games industry that we just keep seeing happen, and that was EA announcing that first it came off Respawn was canceling 2 projects in the longest, most corporate speak social media post they could have possibly put out. Canceling 2 projects. They didn't name the projects, but we know what they are. And then it came that was going to impact about 100 people. Then it came out right after that it was another 200 people across EA were going to be let go. And this includes developers, QA, support staff, artists, like you name it. No area of EA was untouched. And there's even some things happening that we don't have confirmation on that kind of you can put 2 and 2 together. So Grant, I'm going to start with you. Before we get into the games itself, you see EA announce these layoffs, comes out of nowhere. What were your initial thoughts when EA dropped this hammer?
I mean, it's not the first time, is it, with EA? Those guys, I think they're 3 for 3 in the last 3 years for making layoffs. And, they've hit Respawn before. I think last year they let go, 5% of their workforce across the board, which was pretty drastic. And every time it's the same thing, it's the whole it's a streamlining thing. It's a cost reduction thing. It's a budgeting thing. They always use the same. I mean, we can't even call them excuses at this point, is it? Because I'm sure, the tapping into the corporate way of things, there's obviously a driving reason for it. They're not doing it to be malicious. I've been in a position in my life, both the recipient and the deliverer of news like that. And as the people handing down that news, you've got to have, I mean, this might be a hot take for some, but sometimes you do have to have sympathy for them as well, because 9 times out of 10, those, I know, speaking from experience, some of these people, they're at risk too. Their jobs are at risk as well. The people handing down this information and handing down these layoffs. Obviously, as you get right up to the very top and you get to the CEOs where they're like $20 million bonuses and stuff, then it's a different thing entirely, but you've got to be sympathetic, I guess, somewhere like that. But I think at this point, I think we've said it before, time and again, when we get these big batch layoffs, is that like it's still just the way of the world right now. Obviously, it's petered off a lot since last year and the year before, which was just crazy stuff. It's slowed down a bit, I think. Not even I think, like we've discussed how it has, slowed down a bit. But I think with someone like EA, it's probably hard for them not to have a big batch layoff because they just have so many staff working for them. So, it's not going to be like, you see studios where it's proportionate, isn't it? They might say they've laid off 10, 20 people, but their total staff base is like, I don't know, 300-400, whereas EA must have, I don't even know how many thousands they've got on the books. But so, obviously it seems like a lot and it's proportionate, which is tough. But I think it's not just, we said we'll talk about the games as well. It's not just the people that are laid off. It's the projects that we lose and the years of work that have gone into it that gets flushed down the drain. And there are some interesting stories that came out of that as well. Like we saw the story on socials about Heather, I have the name, Heather Woodward, talking about how she wrote the new character Sparrow for Apex.
Yeah,
and then she got laid off.
Yeah.
The day she was laid off, she was getting emails promoting the character she wrote. And it just seems insensitive at best, ironic, however you want to word it. It's just crazy. I think with these bigger firms, it's almost inevitable. EA being one that has done it a few times, and Ubisoft has been hit, obviously. I think it's inevitable with these bigger firms because they've just got the bulk of people there. It sounds really harsh, but they have the people to lay off. I'm corporate lifestyle. I've worked for companies where people have made sweeping layoffs, thousands and thousands at one time. They have the people to let go, so we're going to see them do it. That's just the reality of it, I think.
What do you think, AP?
Yeah, we talk about this time and time again. I feel like we talk about this bi-weekly at this point. I mean, it's just something that unfortunately you come to expect here in this industry. And like Grant was alluding to there, whenever it comes down to seeing it the most, it happens to these larger corporations like EA, like an Ubisoft, unfortunately, because of the fact that there's just more people there. So, they go to balance it out. And the people that are doing the actual layoffs, making the announcements, telling those people, like Grant said, those people, they're not in good shoes either. They don't like doing that sort of thing. It's just, it's the unfortunate position that, that they've been in. I have friends that have, positions like that have had to unfortunately go ahead and, lay folks off, and they felt horrible about it. It's just, unfortunately, just one of those situations where, you follow what the CEO says, and the CEO is just kicking back and heading off on vacation.
or you get that 3 a.m. email from a certain outlet saying, or company saying that, hey, you're fired while you're on vacation. That's always fun too.
Yeah.
No sour grapes on my end. The games you brought up, Grant, the games we lost, and one of them we knew from a little while back was one of the games that Respawn was canceled at Respawn was unannounced, like first person shooter.
Yeah.
Now we get reports from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg that the other game was a extraction shooter, our favorite genre. That
what else was it gonna be?
You talk about
it. Oh yeah,
an extraction shooter set in the Titanfall universe. People were thinking maybe this was Titanfall 3. We don't know, but we know, like, based on the reports, an extraction shooter set in the Titanfall universe. And one, did we need this? Two, I just don't know. Like, did we need it? No. Does it suck where it's never going to see the light of day? Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Titanfall 3 was probably the more closely aligned, probably would have been Legends, which was, single player component. And then, and that obviously, died a death. The whole extraction shooter thing, I mean, they did a battle royale and it went okay. So why not try an extraction shooter? Why not have a crack at that? It wouldn't have been EA's first foray into the world of extraction shooters either.
No.
But it would have been Titanfall's first, toe dip. And I mean, right now it seems everyone's getting on the bandwagon. So as for why it was just like cold cocked and knocked out, I don't know why. There's probably some reasons in there. I didn't read too much into it, but It seems like it's like if you're going to make one, now's the time. But obviously, it's difficult because if you're just starting to make one now, you're going to miss the uptick that we've got right now with like Marathon and Arc Raiders coming out as well. So you're going to miss that window. But I don't know. People obviously want to see what they want to see something from Titanfall. Like Apex Legends is up there still as a fairly decent battle royale. The competitive scene isn't too bad as a game. I'm pretty sure it's still got a good player base there as well and a community. But it's like they keep trying to start things up for Titanfall and they break them down, and they start them up and they break them down. And, you know, so I think, I don't know, they sat there and they said they wanted to get 20 years out of Apex Legends, which means it's going to run to 2035, I think, or no, when did it come out? 2019. So like 2039 or whatever. So there's obviously huge ambitions to keep Apex Legends going. So they want the Titanfall universe to stay around. But I just think every time they've gone for something, it's completely fallen short. And I don't know if it's an EA thing as an overarching thing, or if it's something like a Respawn, or if there's just some inherent issues there with getting the wheels turning on these projects. But maybe it's just time to just tell everyone we're just giving up on Titanfall and we're not revisiting it.
Yeah.
Put all of your eggs in the Battlefield basket. Just
There
go
you
that
go.
way instead, you know.
That's
just
what they
do
need to
that.
do.
That's what
And we know that's Tom's favorite topic is Battlefield.
Yeah, oh,
he says
man.
it's going to be the COD killer this year, isn't that right, Tom? You said that?
Well, I'm not
Oh,
going to
we're
say
starting
no,
this again.
no. We're not doing that.
Man.
But yeah, I definitely agree on the whole putting all the eggs in the Battlefield basket. Yeah, I don't know. There was some weird rumors about Titanfall 3 as well. I think there was one Apex Legends leaker who said that Jason Schreier's wrong and that Titanfall 3 was definitely in development. Very bold
And
claim.
almost complete.
Yeah, and almost complete. Very bold claim to say that Jason Schreier's wrong, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I know that Titanfall 3 was in development at one point, and I heard this from DICE actually in February, and it was cancelled simply because it was too similar to Titanfall 2, which is just completely crazy, right? Because that's what would make
people
it
want.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what people
exactly.
want.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, this extraction shooter thing being called Titanfall 3, or like some wires have been crossed somewhere at some point. And yeah, I think even calling it Titanfall 3 at this point is going a bit beyond what it is, and maybe people are just using it for good old SEO or whatever. But an extraction shooter in the Titanfall universe is not Titanfall 3.
I still can't go. Hey, it's not like Titanfall. It's too much like Titanfall 2. You mean the game that everybody really wants more of because it was so good?
I swear
Exactly.
that is what I heard from DICE, is that it got cancelled because it was too similar to Titanfall 2.
People need to stop. The people in power. Also, real quick, Alley Cat throwing shade at me. I don't appreciate it.
I just read the comment in the chat. That's hilarious.
Battlefield fans like Bills fans every year they can beat their rival. This is an equivalent. This for my UK brethren here. The Bills can't beat the Chiefs in football, just like Battlefield apparently can't beat Call of Duty. So they had
They will this year, though.
Yeah, both ways. Woo! Yeah. And then Fuzzy Muffin, even Grubb said, yeah, the Titanfall rumors weren't real. So
yeah,
I mean, I just don't. The game's being canceled bothersome, and then we see not only, and it kind of goes under the radar because the bigger thing is the Respawn and the mass layoffs, but at the same time, you have EA announcing via Codemasters that all development on future rally games, which the contract was through the license for WRC was through 2027 originally after getting it in 2020, all rally development games are shelved. This is where things get a bit interesting with me from who I've talked to throughout the day. Codemasters had their social media accounts gone. They're gone. Website's still active. A lot of people are of the belief that I've been told and I'm still trying to chase like 100% confirmation, but that EA is planning on kind of merging Codemasters in with a different studio within the company. And they point to a few things with this, which kind of leads to maybe what happened with Criterion moving and becoming the Need for Speed developer, moving and becoming a Battlefield developer. Will the Need for Speed move over to Codemasters but under Criterion? Who knows? Formula 125 comes out this month. It is the last game currently scheduled for Codemasters. The license is up this year. There's been no movement on a renewal. From what I've been told, EA has been despite the popularity of Formula One rising, EA has been kind of iffy on renewing that exclusive license on that front, especially because there's another license they're currently negotiating, and we'll get to later on, another sports license. But things are pointing out where EA is looking at continuing to make changes, and one of them happens to be consolidating studios. And I kind of am nervous this is going to ultimately lead to more layoffs down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I do remember that some people from Criterion did work on F1 as well. So maybe it makes sense that Codemasters will merge with Criterion, because obviously Criterion's working on Battlefield at the moment, but it doesn't necessarily mean that all of Criterion are, right. There could be a segmented team of a dozen or two working on F1 or whatever it may be. But I think with F1, it's now coming back to the whole FIFA and licensing stuff that EA went through, where EA are probably looking at F1 now and probably thinking to themselves, why don't we just continue to make Need for Speed instead and retain that 20-25% licensing that we would have to pay on F1, right? Because that's the whole reason they left FIFA behind. It's the whole reason why we never got to see Battlefront 3 was because of that licensing deal. So I think they're trying to slimline as much as possible.
It's just weird with the FIFA, leaving FIFA behind made sense because you didn't need FIFA to have all the teams. With Formula One, you need that Formula One license to have any race teams or anything like that. But it just there's still more happening. There's bound to be more to happen. And what's crazy about it is Codemasters was bought by EA for $1.2 billion 4.5 years ago. Imagine spending $1.2 billion on something, and then within half a decade, if this is what they do, say like, all right, it's gone. I think they're veiling that. Sorry.
Just probably like under your breath. Oh man.
I'm sorry. I'm never gonna work there. I never want to. I like here. This place is fun. Speaking of more bad news, on this edition of Insider Gaming Bad News Weekly, Xbox goes anti-consumer now in the worst possible way. Xbox decides to announce the day after report earnings. Oh, by the way, real quick, EA earnings May 6th. So we'll find out more on what their plans are, hopefully then as well. Xbox, the day after reporting earnings that included falling hardware sales, which we expected, but a 8% growth of Xbox content and services and a 5% growth in revenue within Xbox, entirely within Microsoft. They decide we're going to double down. People have too much money. They can spend more. And they are raising game prices to $80 later this year. First party games, that is. And they're raising the cost of all Xbox Series consoles and accessories by way too much. So we're seeing Xbox Series S consoles, the 512 gig, go from $299, a very affordable rate, to $379. The 1 terabyte Series S up to $429. The Xbox Series X digital, to $549, up $100. The regular Series X up to $600, and the 2 terabyte Series X special edition from $600, $130 more at $729, more than a PS5 Pro. And then you got controllers. They're upping the Elite controller series to $200. Regular controllers are $70. We talked about it before. Like, remember the days when, as a console got older, the price would go down? And I'm going to pass this off to you, AP, first, because I know you want to go off too on this. They want you for a console that's almost 5 years old. And when you think about the parts and how long it's been in development, this is 7 to 8 year old hardware in these machines. And they want you to pay more. They want you to pay more than a PS5 unless Sony decides to do the same thing, which we've already shown they have no problem raising prices of things. But they want you to pay more for near decade old hardware. AP, what do you think?
It's like the most nonsensical thing I literally have heard in the past. I don't even know. This is absolutely absurd that they've done this. Obviously, it just exploded. Everyone's thoughts, man, is just like completely on the negative. I don't see how does this benefit consumers at all? It doesn't. There is no positive in this at all. I don't understand this. Maybe their logic is like, well, we see the Switch, with their price hike as far as like Mario Kart World goes and blah, blah, blah. It's like, maybe Xbox saying anything that you can do, I can do better. Well, maybe they should just stick with live service because,
Better.
they're doing just fine with that. I feel like if they stick with that, everything would be perfectly fine. I don't understand the concept behind this because people now, I mean, they're definitely not going to buy an Xbox now. Are you kidding me? Like, no way. And, even more so, like, on top of that, like, I just think that this is the beginning of the end for Xbox. I'm going to be quite frank with you. I think this is such a big reach. And it's not just a reach for like a money grab. It's a reach for their final nail in their coffin. I truly believe this is going to be the beginning of the end for them. This is insane. And the price, I mean, look, you can build a nice high-end PC for like, maybe $200 more than the price of that. What was that high-end Xbox? What was it, $749 or something like that?
$729.
$729.
2 terabyte Galaxy Special Edition.
Why
you know
don't
what makes
you-
it special? You go bankrupt with it.
Bro, why don't you just spend an extra $100-$200 and just get yourself a PC? That way you have components that you can upgrade throughout time, as opposed to dealing with stagnant components that you cannot upgrade, that have been in the system for almost 5 years, that are going to be obsolete here in a few years whenever the next generation releases. This is ridiculous, man. It is just unbelievable. And I don't know, like, who is going to be buying an Xbox anytime soon. If you're in the market for an Xbox, you should probably just build a PC. This is just, I don't know.
Grant, we're 2 years away likely from the next generation of Xbox. Are you surprised they did this? I can't fathom this being viewed as a smart move.
Let me sit up.
All right, let's go. Dude,
Straight back this.
Today's
Time
a
to
fun
cook.
day.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, right, all this stuff at the minute, I kind of see it a little bit as being a dead horse because I feel like it's every week we're talking about someone somewhere is raising the prices of something, right? PlayStation Now's going up, or Xbox Game Pass is going up, or Nintendo Switch, more expensive than we thought it would be, or GTA 6 at $100, that one's not confirmed. But it feels like we're always talking about this stuff, always talking about things going up, prices everywhere. And now Xbox comes out and they say we're putting the prices up with the hardware, the software, whatever. Okay, the software thing, maybe that's some sort of tactic to drive Game Pass subs, right? Because if it's first party only, people will say, well, no, screw that. I'm not going to go and spend $80 to get whatever game. I'm just going to go and get a Game Pass sub instead. And then, hey ho, Xbox has captured your attention there for a recurring subscription rather than a one-off payment, which is exactly what they want to do. Someone's always got to go first. We were talking about that, about Nintendo saying they're kind of setting a bar for price rising. And then, hey, look, now other people are following. Obviously, this stuff would have been This stuff would have been on the table on the whiteboard a long time ago. PlayStation might follow. I could imagine they might follow as well. Or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll keep things lower than the Xbox and capitalize on that and just keep up the good work they're already doing with their hardware sales. So,
do you remember whenever PlayStation had the thing where, it was a big thing with Xbox? They were like, oh yeah, as far as like borrowing games and everything, it was like this big ordeal. And it wasn't crystal clear. And then PlayStation came out with this tongue-in-cheek video. It was like, here's how you can share your games. And they literally showed, I believe it was it Shuhei Yoshida? Like sharing
boys.
Yeah.
This is how it was just a video of a 5-second video. This is how you buy your games on PlayStation 4. Thanks.
Yep.
And then it cuts.
That was it. It cut. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here thinking like PlayStation's going to
to
be seeing exactly what the volcanic eruption of this is, and they're going to be like, okay, well, so we don't necessarily want to do that. Maybe let's explore other options to maybe bring in revenue.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
have you.
from my standpoint with it as well, I see inflation as being universal as well. It's not just gaming; it's everything. The price of everything's going up.
True.
The cost of development is rising. That's another thing that gets touted all the time when we talk about these increases in software prices. It costs more to develop games now, and so on and so forth, and whatever. And as we've seen, companies are finding it harder to sort of to hang on to their to staff, and the layoffs are necessary, and it's always cost cutting. So you kind of think, okay, well, that makes sense that they want to put up the prices of things that they're selling if they're having a hard time paying people. I think one of the things that people get like all screwed up on is I'm looking at Zelnick, Mr. Strauss, where he said Strauss Zelnick. I get that guy's which way round is that guy's name? It confuses me.
It's Strauss Zelnick.
His first name is that's it.
Yeah, you got it, man.
If he's listening, I apologize. I get your name wrong every single time. But he said, like, if you get that amount of value out of a game, then it makes sense to charge $100 for it. Like if you're going to get like a Grand Theft Auto 6, for example, and they say, here's $100 for a game, you are going to enjoy, let's lump in a multiplayer as well. You're going to enjoy this at least 100 hours. You're going to enjoy this for maybe 1,000 hours. We're going to give you this live service operating model. We're going to give you updates every 2 months. We're going to give you, so on and so forth. And you're paying $100 for that. And they're going to say, well, that's a steal. That's a bargain, right? At the price. So I think if someone's offering me that, I'm going to pay it because I just see it as being a universal thing and I'm happy to accept it. I mean, maybe it's me like bending over. Maybe I'm being a pushover with it, right? But at the end of the day, they do prey on FOMO a little bit. People want these games. They don't want to be the one person in their friend group to not have it. So it gets a little bit tight, a little bit tricky. We had the discussion last time about how the accessibility and the socioeconomic factors come into it as well. Things get more expensive, means less people can afford them, which means less people are just falling into the realm of gaming. But that's what it was like when I was a kid. When I was growing up, I never had the latest console. I never had brand new games. Always had to appreciate secondhand stuff. Like, I used to get like used games, do trade-ins, do whatever I could to make these games cheap and stuff. And it feels like it's the same debate right now. Like people trying to figure out ways to make games more affordable, maybe missing out on a launch or two or whatever. I don't know if it's getting worse. I don't feel like it's getting worse. Obviously, I'm in a fortunate position now where I can buy the games that I want when I want. But there are still things out there that I feel like are out of my reach or that I don't feel like is a sensible purchase or I feel like I have to save up for. It might be a hot take. This is a hot take. This is a controversial take, but I don't feel that everything needs to be affordable or accessible. That might be a hot take, but I think, these companies are going to do what they're going to do. I think the little guy complaining about the price hikes isn't going to do much at the end of the day. And the long and short of it is people keep complaining about the price rises, but they also complain when games are coming out in an unfinished state or that QA hasn't been done properly or whatever. And it's like, if you want better products, you kind of have to pay more for them.
But that's the problem.
We could go on.
We're going.
You could go down this. You could go down this rabbit hole, right? Where if it costs them like $500,000 to make a game, now why should they charge the same amount that they were charging 5 years ago when it cost them like $300 million to make a game? It doesn't make sense.
The other day, I said we didn't fight enough on this show. That ends
wants
now.
to fight.
Ding, ding, ding.
The idea of people complaining, there's a lot to unpack on that one.
Yeah.
But the last point of games coming out unfinished, but if you want them to not come out unfinished, you have to pay more. That won't change shit. That won't change a thing. They can
Okay.
charge $130 for a game, and Bethesda will charge $130 for their next game, and it'll come out as buggy as a flycatcher in spring.
Well, that was a good one, man. I like that. That's a good one.
It doesn't matter what the cost of games to develop is. They cost more. Big reason they cost more that people don't want to get into is the amount of times a game gets developed, restarted, staff churn over and over. That goes into the cost of the game because the people that can't keep their grubby mitts off certain games and certain, on development want to change things so much that games get changed. That happens way more than people want to talk about. The idea that gaming doesn't have to be affordable. They are pricing out the casual gamer, the person who comes home from a long day at work and just wants to pop on their couch, turn on their console and just play. Those days are gone. They're going.
Because this is what I need to see. I need to see the numbers on this. Because I mean, take it from me.
Suckers who will spend
from me, my circle, like the people I know, we're talking like such a range of incomes and lifestyles and things. I don't know one person that isn't happy with the games that they have access to and the amount that they play and the platforms that they play on. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I don't really ever have conversations about people saying like, oh, Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, for example. I know that there are ways people can grab that game, and I mean, the secondhand sales and trade-ins obviously are falling downhill because there's no shops that really accept them. But I don't know anyone that's in such a position right now where they're having to. We say like it's dying out. The casual gaming thing is dying out. I just don't see that. I don't see the numbers that, we talk they like sales and stuff. They're all saying hardware sales are going fine. Maybe Xbox isn't, but PlayStation's going fine. The amount of people that are coming out
isn't going fine. PlayStation is not going fine. They may put it
Have they dropped? Because I thought they were fine.
PlayStation numbers, sales, and granted, the US is the biggest market when it comes to sales. Month over month, numbers are falling at least 25% month over month over month. Like hardware sales,
it's not just a symptom of the where we're at in the generation, though.
But possibly. But we're also at a point of people thought the PS5 Pro was gonna kind of boost them. It didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like the PS5 Pro is trailing behind the PS4 Pro to the point. We'll see what Sony says on their next earnings, but they're not even really being tracked much.
Yeah,
as much. Like, and you say like the casual person, like you're not seeing. It's because. What's problem? The problem that the thing that bothers me the most with everything is like you brought up, like if Grand Theft Auto was $100, like you'd have no problem buying it.
By hook or crook, people are going to find the way. They're going to find the money.
If Grand Theft Auto was $100, I think I brought this up on a past show. It will be the most pirated game in video game history. What this is going to do. These $80
still makes $1 billion in 24 hours, though.
Well, that's because there's people called suckers, who will just bend over and take whatever Daddy Take-Two or EA or whatever wants to give them, and they won't complain. They won't. Everybody says like vote with your money when it comes to games and decisions. The average person most of the people will still spend, because of the FOMO tactics of everything, will spend the money to pick up the game. Whether it's Grand Theft Auto, whether it's Call of Duty, it'll always be in the top sell because of these prices of the games that they don't really need to sell as much as they had to, say, 20 years ago when games were $50, because games are now going to be $80. But the fact we've seen 2 price hikes in one generation is just, it's brutal to me. They're going to blame profits at these companies are still extremely high, whether they want to admit it or not. We're still seeing hundreds of billions of dollars in profit in the gaming industry, but it's not 600 billion in profits. It's only 200 to 300 billion. So we need to screw over people and make them forced.
I mean,
I also think Xbox is doing this because there was, Phil's recent comments about like, we know Game Pass isn't for anybody, buy the 1 or 2 games or whatever, but by raising first party games that are going to be on Game Pass, right? The idea is to push people to then just sign up for Game Pass.
Yeah, that's what
but of course,
why don't they just commit to the service then?
we know Game Pass, they can say that Game Pass Ultimate, I can pretty much guarantee will have a price increase by the end of the year. It will no longer be $20. It'll be $25 or $30. And then they'll say, well, it's so we can give you the best thing, completely negating any sort of like benefit to the person from the $80 price game.
But this is the thing, man. Look, I like to use Spotify as an example, right? Spotify for me, right? When I subscribe, I've been a subscriber, unbroken Spotify subscription since December 2012. Every single month for the last 13 years, right? And when I signed up, I think it was like $7.99 or something. I now pay almost £20 a month for Spotify. I see 13 years of value there where I've listened to that. I've used that service every single day, right? And I don't care if they make it 25, 30. Obviously, you'll get to a point where you say like, no, but that's a bit too much. I'm going to look for an alternate service or whatever. But some price hikes, I think people are just, they might niggle about them. They might say a little bit of grumbling. But at the end of the day, I think the majority, enough people will eat them that it's not like a big enough issue for them to say, oh, no, let's way back. And instead of putting $200 on the price of the console, let's knock off 200 and make it like an absolute bargain basement steal. And we'll eat the loss and we'll take the hit on our bottom line as a corporation or whatever. It's like, well, that flies in the face of capitalism, of their business, of their corporation. Maybe I'm too sympathetic to the corporations. Maybe that's my thing. Maybe I'm looking at it from a perspective of,
sounds like somebody who works for a corporation. As
much as we want to save money, these guys want to make money, right? That's just the way of the world.
But the problem is we know they make the money.
Yeah.
They make the money more. And then they continue to screw over consumer. I am the person. When I say people, like, it's the same thing. I won't buy a single piece of DLC. I won't buy a single microtransaction because I think they're a scam. But enough people will, $5 here, $20 there, $15 here, that they keep doing it. Battle passes, that type of, like, I think it's all garbage.
Yeah,
But I'm also the type of person, I literally can only get 1 to 2 games a year if I'm lucky.
What Molly says in the chat as well. Molly says, can't even afford milk and eggs. This is what I'm saying about it's universal, right? So you've got people, the cost of eggs is going up. The cost of fuel goes up. The cost of, I don't know, any subscription goes up, like your internet, your phone, your whatever. The cost of devices is going up. Like, how much does a brand new iPhone cost these days? I don't even know. It's like $2,000 is ridiculous.
$1,000+.
Like everything is going up universally. I think the problem is, like, if we want to get like political and everything, the cost of earnings isn't going up in kind enough. And that's where the problem is. I don't think it's the problem with these corporations putting up the prices of things. I think it's the fact that people's wages and salaries aren't reflecting the inflation that is, hitting all the things that we want to buy and we want to love and we want to subscribe to. I think that's the problem. That's so stupid. But then that's a really stupid thing to say, though. I mean, I'm going to call myself out here. I'm going to say that's a dumb thing to say, because if we all had more money, of course the price hikes wouldn't be a problem, because we'd all have the money to go, want an extra $10 a month. That's fine.
That's the biggest thing. The cost of everything doesn't match, again, you said it. Money does not go as far. It's why when I got mad on Twitter or Blue Sky, whatever, I constantly got, well, games you should have seen the prices in the 90s. Like, they were charging games. Some games were $70, some games were $80, $90, whatever. Like, there was a Wild West kind of thing with some games. And I hate that argument solely because it comes down to the cost of living was a lot cheaper 30 years ago than it is now.
Yeah.
Maybe in a way it could put the magic back in gaming again. How many times when you were like, when I was growing up, when I did get for example, my first Xbox 360, right? Christmas 2009. It had already been in the market for a couple of months. All my friends had it. I didn't. I was missing out. Christmas morning.
Month, 5 years, 4 years.
Oh, is it? Did I say months?
Yeah.
I definitely meant years. I meant because months would have been fine. So years. And Christmas morning, you come down, you open it, Xbox 360 Elite, 250 gigs, sitting there staring me in the face. And I'm like, this is the greatest day of my life, and that's the magic. How many times when you guys were kids would you, like, your birthday or Christmas, you unwrap this one brand new game that you've been wanting for, like, you've seen it for ages and you had your eye on it and it's there, it's in your hands. Like, maybe this is why I talk about the accessibility thing, maybe it means more if you, I don't know. I'm I'm trying to justify me being like
this
pro
type of
corporation.
comment is this equivalent to me, and Fuzzy, this isn't me just arguing about, this is just the one I saw. This is the equivalent to me with the, games were more like the prices back in the 90s. It's that they are actively pricing out people. Porsche and, Maserati, if we're going on the car route, Porsche, Maserati, Ferrari, Lambo, Benz, they were all there for a reason, for a specific target type. Gaming was not.
Mm-hmm.
It was never that. Like, now gaming is being, it's pricing out a lot of people, which is again why I say support indie games for affordable gaming, because there are so many others.
Yeah.
But also AP makes the point. At this point, you're better off getting a mid-level
PC.
computer
Yep.
that you can upgrade whenever you want, if you want to still be able to afford, like, be in the hobby.
And it's a spectrum.
Exactly.
Look at when they were bringing out the PS5 Pro, and they turned around and they said that, like, they were defending the price point by saying that, like, that is a console for enthusiasts. It's a console for people who want to pay the extra to get it. And that's what I mean when I say that it doesn't have to always, not everything has to be accessible and affordable. Like, there's no freaking way that Microsoft, Xbox, Sony, Nintendo, whoever can set a price point that is going to please absolutely everyone, including shareholders, including investors, including, the people who pay everyone's salaries at the end of the day. There has to be, something's got to give. And if that means they've got to put the prices up for things, then I think we have to just bite that bullet and live with it. I'm playing devil's advocate, saying that, but not everything has to be accessible. The car thing is probably it's not the best way of putting it, because I wouldn't say an Xbox Series X is akin to a Lamborghini.
Because it's 8-year-old hardware.
It's not that good, but you start to see where it makes sense. Like Nintendo came out and said, "Oh, if you can't afford the Switch 2, there's still the Switch."
It's equal, like, or when Xbox One came out. Well, you can't connect to the internet, play a 360.
Yeah, exactly. That's
like,
it.
It's still tone deaf to, and it alienates consumer base. Will it be enough to make an impact and change anything? Not if people buy it. And to the people, like, I know I generalized. Okay, I did this last week with the Switch 2 before we move on, because we got to start wrapping up.
Got a lot of hate on that. My buddy was not happy by what you said about Switch 2 last week.
Generalizing, like, the sucker thing, though, Alley Cat, I can't lie, I'm a sucker. Generalizing the sucker thing, it's where I stand with the sucker comment is the people. If I were to go out, Tom, you can interrupt at any time, Tom.
He's shy.
When I say it's the people, like, if I were to go out, do my complaining like I am, and then tomorrow turn around,
do my complaining like it's a regular thing that you have to do. Oh, I need to get my complaining.
Yeah.
It's a job. It's a task.
Say what I'm saying, right? And then they announce GTA 6 tomorrow, pre-order $100 base version, and I pre-order a game, which another thing at this day and age I think is a scam. But pre-order my game, that would make me a class A sucker. Scott?
I mean,
for those who are just listening, yes, it's actually 12 hours.
Pre-ordering is a different thing entirely. I don't pre-order Jack anymore. There's no point
with it digital.
No point whatsoever.
It used to be just a guarantee.
Yeah.
Tom, I know. What do you got? You could have interrupted at any point. You could have said, Mike, shut up.
Oh, hello, guys. My name's Tom.
Oh, Tom, I didn't know you were there. What's going on? Tom Henderson, ladies and gentlemen.
Play the gong. Oh, man. I don't really have much, so I can continue.
All right, man, if we could...
Oh, whoa.
We continue. On the boom sound, is it Vine? The Vine boom? We should get that in the background.
Yeah,
Tom is British. What?
Oh man. But yeah, I was going to say I think this is it's kind of like the beginning of the end, and like $100 games are coming. Like it just is, right? Like, and I know we're hating on Xbox quite a bit now, but it felt inevitable as soon as Nintendo made that first plunge.
Yes.
And Xbox is just the next in line, right? I think we're probably going to have this conversation in a month or two with PlayStation doing the same, and then other publishers doing the same. GTA 6 being $80 or $100. Like it's not going to be $100, but like no, it's just going to become the norm. Yeah, maybe PlayStation's in a really funny position where they could just say, "Hey, we're not going to increase prices."
PlayStation after granted they did just increase the price of their consoles in various regions and
yeah.
PlayStation Plus, so that might have been just what they
maybe that's going to be their move.
Is just like they've done it and they're like, we already did it, we're not doing it anymore. I do want to see based on the reaction what they do, but we do have to move on. I could
just very quick. It comes at an interesting time as well because of, I mean, you said this right at the beginning of the segment. With 5 years into this generation, right, and consoles should be going down, and I know that isn't really reflected with game prices. But now it sets them up in a really easy position in 2 years' time where when the next gen comes out, they can be like, yeah, games are now $100. And then we've gone from 70 to 100 in 2 years. So, it's interesting timing.
Yeah.
And who knows, with Trump's Harris, there might be $300 by then.
Yeah,
well, that's what
digital
makes
products. Those digital products.
Well, that's what makes this is the most interesting thing is that Microsoft is an American company, and you got these tariffs happening all across the world with these other countries, and yet Microsoft or Xbox is just like, we're gonna increase the price.
And all they do is they blame current market conditions, but they never give. I want a full itemized reason. Give me the full itemized.
That's very
vague.
vague. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I help out. I'll give back, right? If they come out and they say that Grand Theft Auto 6.
They probably will. Grand Theft Auto 5 raising its price to $100.
If they come out and they say GTA 6 is going to be $100, I'll eat my shoe, and I will buy one lucky reader a copy of GTA 6. If it comes out at $100, I'll give back.
You've got to specify. You mean the base game, right?
Yeah, because we know it's guaranteed there'll be an advanced edition or deluxe edition, no matter what.
Yeah, I'm not talking like I'm not gonna. If they
we're talking base game.
If it's $100, I'll eat my hat and I'll buy someone a copy just as like.
You got to do it on the podcast live.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Wire Rope says just get Game Pass and never own anything again.
Yeah, there you go. Ubisoft
even if without Game Pass, we don't own anything. When you buy a game on Steam, you're just borrowing the license. Your discs, it's a license. Your digital downloads, they're licensed.
That's true.
As Ubisoft said, we got to get used to not owning anything anymore.
Yeah, they can rescind that as quickly as they grant you the license for it.
There we go. People can't get high-speed games or high-speed internet. Yeah, that's a problem in a lot of places. The internet infrastructure is getting better.
Yeah,
but it's still not where it should be for digital only. Okay, we got to start wrapping up. But before we do, there was something I teased on social media that people I know some are tuned in for, and that's an update on the NFL video game license. NFL 2K or 2K announced they were sunsetting their mobile game. They had signed a deal for non-simulation games. It was supposed to be the mobile game was the first one. There was supposed to be a console game in development. It had been restarted. The last I knew is that the console game has kind of been paused. Will it come out? Maybe, but the NFL is not happy with the license. The mobile game did not do well whatsoever. It tanked to the point where they stopped mentioning it and the license on Take-Two's earning call. It did not do well at all. So the NFL is not happy. On the EA side of things, it has kind of led to EA feeling, I had a text message from a source last night that EA is more confident than ever now that they will renew that exclusive license. From what I know, it hasn't been signed yet, but the confidence now is like, it went from say like a 60 to 65 type of thing to EA sources they're up near the 90s as far as confidence level in that. So there's that update. I fully expect, if I'm putting money down on it, I fully expect EA to renew the Madden, the NFL exclusive license. That's kind of where I'm at. We did have one question, Tom, for you from Blazing Flame. Do you know if EA is still making that an unannounced Marvel game or not? I don't know if you know about this, but there's an addition to Iron Man at EA Motive, which some of the people from Respawn were moved to, by the way. So not everybody was laid off, but some of the people who were working at Respawn were moved to work on the Iron Man game, which is still coming. But there was a lot of talk of another Marvel game at EA. Do you know?
Yeah, off the top of my head, I can't remember it. I'll have to do some digging. I'll have to look at some emails and DMs, so on and so forth. But off the top of my head, I just can't remember at the moment. So I have no idea, unfortunately.
And there was one question about a potential Sony showcase. I think we're probably going to get something in June. It'd be weird for them not to do something within the month of, Xbox is doing one, Summer Games Fest happening. It makes sense that PlayStation would do some sort of showcase.
I think Blazing Flame just put it in the chat. I think it's about time that we hear about Insomniac's Wolverine.
That Venom. We know we have that timeline from that leak. But my guess is it changed.
That screwed a lot of things up. Trust me when I say that. I wouldn't look at any of those leaks and think that it's accurate in any way, shape, or form. And the timelines and even a lot of the content has been changed or cut just to keep it a surprise and stuff. So, yeah, I wouldn't look at those leaks and think we're definitely getting X, Y, and Z. But yeah, I think that Sony's now, we're getting towards the end of the generation. They probably need to do one final big showcase to show off the games that are coming out this gen. So we've still got Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotai, Wolverine,
Bloodborne Remastered. I'm kidding.
Fair Game $.
Fair Game $. That's what it's called.
Yep.
And even Marathon, right? But yeah, I think we are due one, but that's just speculation on my part.
And with that, this is a streamlined, quick episode.
Mm-hmm.
We are wrapping up because I'm going to give a tease. I'm in Boston for PAX next week. Tom's not here, so we're doing a special. It's a non-live. It's a recorded short episode all about Grand Theft Auto 6. Predictions, release date thoughts, everything like that, which will be for next week's episode on YouTube and on all streaming platforms, because there's going to be a lot coming with PAX. My schedule, I think I might have booked myself way too thin. I got in trouble with myself. I scheduled myself meetings at 9:00 next Thursday. I'm just at night. I'm just like, way to go, genius. So that's what we're doing. To everybody who tuned in this week, thank you. Thank you for supporting. You could follow us. All our social media is on the screen at Insider Gaming IG on Twitter, at insider-gaming.com on Blue Sky, insider_gaming on YouTube, Insider Gaming News on Facebook. There's also our forums, free to join, hang out. You can guarantee you can comment on every story at Insider Gaming, and more coming in the future. Insider-gaming.com/forum. Guys, we can see the social media on the screen now, except for Tom. He didn't want to do it. Look for the red snowmobile. Grant is at Newcov everywhere. AP is the weekly wrap up, and it's Newcov_. Can't just be Newcov. You'll go to a Swedish band.
I was going to Google them to see what they were.
I think they're Swedish.
Oh no! Wait. Sorry.
Oh.
So if you Google Nukov, it might be biased because it's me doing it, but you do get me. Nukov, musical artist, is a oh man. Apparently, it's some Belgian duo or something. They do house and techno music. Yeah,
try and acquire them, do a takeover.
Yeah,
acquire them, lay them off, and then.
I have been looking to break into the Belgian techno DJing scene, so maybe that's my in.
Do your thing, homie.
Yeah, man, you can do it.
We are awesome. You know who's more awesome? You, for tuning in, for supporting Insider Gaming. This is like Grant said in the comments. This is only our second live show, and this one was really fun. But because we finally got to arguing, which I love to do. If you guys knew how many times Grant and I argue over petty, stupid stuff.
I can vouch for it. Yep.
Yeah, we need to launch a internal battle royale game.
1v1 me, bro. 1v1 me on Rust. Throwing knives only.
Oh, he'll smash you at COD.
I'm literally wearing a COD esports jersey
my
as we
4-year-old.
fucking speak. Oh, sorry, I
4-year-old
cursed. I cursed. I apologize. I don't know if we have. Can we bleep it? Oh no, we're live. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
But with that, we need to sign off. We're going to leave it with the one and only AP. I'm not going to put you by yourself on the screen because last time I did it, it was me. And I don't want to do that again to the poor people.
I
Take
love
it away, AP.
What a great episode, guys. Appreciate you for watching. Go ahead and smash the like button on your way out. For Tom, Mike, and Grant, I am, of course, your host with the most A to the P, Albert Perkins, and we will see you on the inside.